So I just got done watching Avatar: Fire and Ice, the 2025 movie. I didn't realize the movie was 3 hours long. So when I noticed the time, I told myself I'd probably have to take notes so that way I remember all the stuff that would happen in the movie, so that way I can criticize it properly. So to start off with, yes, this movie is extremely long. I think this is a killing point to the movie because it is so long that eventually you forget everything that happens prior. And yeah, it's not as if it doesn't matter because it's supposed to build up the context for what happens at the end or whatever, which I find you basically forget during the movie. So yeah, so this movie, yeah, start off way too long. There's no reason for it to be this long. There's so many moments where they could have cut up the movie and just remove scenes or not just add it, and it would have been better. This movie is ridiculous when it comes to the graphics. I will give them that. The graphics look good. I didn't have any issues with that. But even if something looks good, it can still be garbage. So yeah. So this is not a winning point, or it doesn't win any favors with me. So yeah. So I found one of the more interesting things about this movie is that it comes off as basically offensive for the most part, and at the same time it comes off a little bit racist because it's trying to play on, I guess, our history. And then again, it's like you created a whole entire alien species. Why would they have to have behaviors like humans? It's so idiotic. It kind of irritated me while watching the movie. This is why it also bothered me, because most of the stuff came off as offensive. And I was like, why? What's the point in this? It makes no sense. Already, you show us you show us that they understand that humans are pretty destructive and they're coming to the planet to destroy nature in its, or the entirety of their planet to some degree. Why is it they can't, behave accordingly and be all peaceful and all the stupid shit there? Because I have to admit, I couldn't understand why. Why would they be all peace, love, and no? It's so stupid. It's like you gave them human characteristics when they're a completely different alien species with a completely different history and everything. Excuse me. So yeah, one of the other things that bothered me with this movie is the mere fact that they have faith in a thing that's actually existing on the planet. You don't have to have faith in the thing that actually exists that you have proof of. It's such a weird concept that I didn't understand. Like, it makes no sense. You would just trust in the thing. Why would you use faith as something as idiotic as that to try and describe a thing that actually exists on the planet that you can actually interact with? It made no sense, and it irritated me for the majority of the time. They would kept like the main character, the mom, who would always be like, I have to have faith in this thing. It's like, no, it exists. You just have to trust in its plan. There's no faith required. Oh, anyways, this thing ever really irritated me. And then to slap in all these different little caveats to the entity, it just made no sense. It was annoying. Then to have all the other creatures on the planet behaving in such a pacifist way, like we can't attack because blah blah blah, but we can't defend ourselves. It made no sense. It was idiotic. It was stupid. Being hunted is something that would make any creature kind of want to defend itself. So it's so idiotic for them to be absolutely pacifist kind of thing. It's so stupid. It irritated me. Couldn't believe that they did this for this stupid movie. Another thing that also irritated me is the fact that, for this movie, there was no real creativity when it came to the planet, to the creatures. It was just creatures of necessity, It wasn't anything like a world that existed that was alive. It was rather annoying. I'm going to compare this to Scavenger's Reign, sorry. This animation was well done. It had creatures linked throughout the whole entire environment. Everything made sense to some degree. Like, every interaction, there was a cause and effect. But for Avatar, for a world that they're trying to make out to be this big beautiful world where everything is connected, nothing seemed connected except for by the roots, and it did nothing. Like overall, I found it really boring to watch something that claims to be all this connectivity thing, and yet nothing is actually interacting with each other. It's so idiotic. It's so stupid. It irritated me even more than I thought, because after seeing all the other movies, I was like, okay, they have to do something different, but they did nothing different. They just did things out of necessity, and it kind of irritated me even more than I thought. So yeah, this negative. Now this is definitely because of the writing, but also at the same time no character development. All the characters seem to have done like a 180 because of certain events that transpire in the other movies, but at the same time they all behave very weird and not realistic in some way. It made no sense. It irritated me. Some of the decision making was so off that it was like boring. It was irritating. It was annoying to listen to. Anyways, this movie didn't have any creativity in it. It didn't have any story that I could actually latch onto. It just had a bunch of, I don't know, humanistic kind of behaviors and all that kind of stuff, which made no sense because it's a completely different species to humans. So it made no sense in my book. One of the other things that I kind of was annoyed by is the mere fact that they had a whole entire colony, and this whole entire colony, there was a disaster that happened that ended up burning down their forest, and they adapted this way. But as they're explaining this story, because I found it super idiotic that they would go out of their way knowing that the planet has a ecosystem that's supposed to be linked all together by the all mother or whatever they call it. I didn't pay attention, and they decide to go rogue and attack and kill the rest of these their fellow I forgot the name of the alien because the movie was so long it annoyed me. Like they went about killing their fellow man in some way, and it made no sense, especially with the violence that they were using. It made no sense. And on top of that, the humans would call them savages, and I'm telling you, this movie came off as so offensive. It was ridiculously annoying to watch. Anyways, so yeah, so this whole entire colony, like, it made no sense. If you can travel across the planet and do all these different things, why would you adapt to the volcano and then become a harsh thing that would attack others? It made no sense. It's like it's absolutely human characteristics given to an alien species, which would make no sense because compared to humans, they have a connectivity with the whole entire planet and every living thing on it. So it was like, why are we indulging this stupidity? Just for story? No, it's idiotic. We understand the humans are the invaders. You don't need to pay attention to a lone colony that's just going out of its way to do stupid things, you know? So basically, after 45 minutes of the movie, we'll say 45 to 50 minutes of the movie, I was so annoyed that I stopped taking notes because I was so annoyed by everything that I was witnessing and seeing that it irritated me more than anything. So I told myself I would just snowball it and just go for whatever my brain pops up and I want to say for the end of the video kind of thing. So basically, at the end, all of this goes on, and it's so idiotic how everything goes back to normal and all this kind of stuff, and yet they don't learn a lesson that humanity will always come. It made no sense. This is the kind of stupidities that make movies so boring and stupid overall. And I'm not interested in seeing another movie because this one, after 3 hours, most likely the next movie they're going to make is like 4 hours, and it's going to be something completely stupid. It's going to be a replica of all the previous movies slapped together to give you an extended long version of this movie, and it's just going to be so boring and so annoying. There is no newness to this movie. There is no new adaptation for this movie. There is nothing interesting. It's all stupid garbage. And from my tone and from what I'm saying, overall, graphics look good. Nothing else is good about this movie. Just the graphics is fine. The action, I'm not even going to say it's even good. I'm going to say it's just mediocre fine. There's nothing interesting about this movie. It's not worthwhile. It's not worth watching. It's just a waste of 3 hours of your life. Do not waste your time on this. Anyways, so overall, I'll be giving this thing about a 7 out of 10 in the shit category because literally all the other movies, the first one was interesting, and then the second one was boring, and this one is just plain garbage because it's just a waste of time. Everything that transpires, all the action scenes, all the things that happen, are just idiotic and just based on luck, and it just irritates the crap out of me. So yeah. So for this movie, it definitely deserves its 7 out of 10 in the shit category. Nothing's gonna change my mind because borderline offensive on majority of the stuff that I witnessed.